Hello. Today we will continue with Violet Memoir with Leigh's Roots. A cool breeze flows through my fur, sending a shiver down my spine. Autumn and every winter is rarely cold during this time of day. It's usually only during night or when it rains that the temperature dips. It must be the beach air. Walking down Jackson Street, which trails alongside the beach, the ocean air nips through my loose shirt and leaves the salty scent of the air flowing around me. How long has it been since I visited the beach? 5 years. I never thought I'd ever come this close to it ever again. Looking through the gaps between stores, I can see the ocean behind them, sparkling as if covered in glitter. The lack of gusting winds leaves the water still, making it look like something out of a painting. After another block, I spot the building I've been searching for. It's a moderately long, single-floor building modeled after a sack. The sign above it intentionally run down, spelling out the name Snapping Jaws. It's a restaurant and bar, only a short walk away from the beach. It's not shocking to see most of the tables occupied by people, leaving only the ones outside vacant. It's surprisingly nerve-wracking to walk into a restaurant alone, almost shameful that I've arrived without any company. I know it's a silly thought, but it still causes a prickling sensation on the back of my neck, causing the entire thing to itch. After taking a couple of seconds to strengthen my fortitude, I finally push forward through the open door, and I'm greeted by the instantly recognizable smell of fish. I can't imagine what this must be like for someone with a sensitive nose like Lucas. When Lily asked us to meet somewhere near the ocean for lunch, and also suggested this place, I should have maybe taken the hint that it would probably be primarily seafood. It doesn't take me long to find the table where our group is sitting. The author sits tall like a beacon, despite the table being on the opposite side of the room, next to two open doors leading to a dark-like balcony. Walking closer, I'm able to see only two people are sitting down so far, Lily and Oscar. The shared giggles between them are light and fun. For a moment, I think they don't notice me heading towards them, but a glance out of the corner of Oscar's eyes and a flick of Lily's golden ears tell me otherwise. The two of them are on opposite sides of the booth. Between them is a long wooden table resembling a surfboard. I'm about to ask where I should sit, but Oscar beats me to the punch. Let me get up and you can sit here. Then we'll figure out where I'll sit. That's okay, man? Yeah, that seems fine to me. I think we should wait till everyone gets here, then we can figure out where everyone will go. That way we can fit everyone pretty well, but we'll sort it out when everyone arrives. Okay. It's overwhelming. I hadn't even said a word before I got bombarded by the two of them. It didn't even seem planned. The two of them are just moving at a pace I can't keep up with, feeding off of each other's energy. Oscar slips out of the booth and stands up straight, his muscles flexing as he stretches. I try not to stare, but it's hard when he's standing right next to me. In a vain attempt to keep some dignity, I focus on Lily, who looks like she's holding back a giggle as she watches me. She's still wearing that yellow cardigan. Its soft color complements her light beige fur. My nose might not be as strong as other species, but the floral perfume she's wearing is pleasantly gentle. Her eyes are a little dark, as if she had been up all night or crying, but that doesn't stop positive energy beaming from her. Also finally finishes stretching, allowing me to look back towards him. He's staring right at me with a disappointed pout. Even if it's fake, it still makes me feel a little sad, but that quickly disappears as his grin returns. He gestures towards his side of the booth with both arms. He looks goofy with how casually he's dressed in the same tank top and shorts from before. Oh, such a gentleman. Lily giggles before giving me an overly dramatic swoon, causing my eyes to roll, but a smile to grow despite my best efforts. It's hard to not feel happy around these two. They really know how to boost the atmosphere around them. Sliding into the booth, I sit across from Lily, and it's strange to sit with someone about my height, considering just how much taller than me Leigh and Oscar are. Marcus was always a lot taller than me too. I bet even now I wouldn't be close. I'm doomed to never grow, stuck at the same height I was in middle school. Did you get better sleep this time, dude? No nightmares. Not tonight. I passed out as soon as I got home. I'm feeling a lot better today. My stomach grumbles and I can feel my ears flossing as Lily looks away, holding back her laughter, though the one saving grace for my pride is that Oscar looks oblivious. His ears aren't as sensitive as a canine's. I'm just a bit hungry. I didn't eat last night, and I only had some toast before going to my lit class, or literature class. You came to the right place then. I found it in my freshman year, and I've been coming back ever since. The fish here is the best, trust me. I've gone through most of the menu, but there's snapper rocks. I've never really eaten much seafood. The smell always scares me off, even if they look delicious. Surimi in grocery stores is especially tempting, but I never got the courage to try any of it. I wouldn't even know how to cook it. Leigh mentioned cooking for his sister. I wonder if he's a good cook and if he'd be willing to let me try some of his food. Ozzy, do you think I can talk to Wallace alone for a bit? I just want us to have a bit of privacy. Also doesn't appear at all surprised with Lily's suggestion, and it makes me wonder if they chatted about this before I arrived. I wouldn't put it past her to plan this. He smiles, and his smile widens. His eyes simmer as he stares down into my own before giving me a wink. I'm left agape by Oscar once again. I'm still unsure what exactly Oscar is thinking when he does what he does. Is he just that much of a frat bro that he doesn't understand what he's doing, or is he just teasing me and joking around, or is he actually flirting with me? Man, I just don't know. I'll check one of the seats at the bar, where I'll definitely be out of reach and totally unable to hear you. Lily gives him a glare that reminds me of the time when my mother caught me skipping school that one time, and never even thought of doing it again after that. Just the memory of that sends a shiver down my spine. I'm gonna go ahead and skip this part here. Stepping through the back door, the salty ocean breeze rushes over me. The refreshing scent is nostalgic, reminding me of the days when Marcus and I would come here in the summer. Behind the restaurant is just a little zone for people to eat and smoke, but an entire wharf that's been remodeled to have tables and benches. All the refurbished areas are directly next to the restaurant itself, leaving the far parts of the wharf untouched. There's barely anyone out here, likely due to the lukewarm autumn weather and the chilling sea breeze. This place must be a hot spot in the summertime. Walking across the pier, I can't place Leigh among the few faces I can see. There's only a restaurant worker on break, a fisherman who's consumed by his lunch, and walking across the pier, I can't place Leigh amongst the few faces I can see. There's only a restaurant worker on break, a fisherman who's consumed by his lunch, and on the far side of the wharf, leaning against a railing just above the edge, before the water, is Leigh. He's wearing an outfit that's completely different from what I'm used to seeing him in. Instead of his usual leather jacket, he's wearing a pink hoodie that cuts off before it even reaches the middle of his back, revealing his torso for all to see. On his lower back, just above his usual style of black jeans, is a striking tattoo of a red rose hovering just above his belt. That must have been what I saw yesterday. This entire outfit is just a change from what he normally wears. It's no wonder I didn't recognize him at first. If it wasn't for his fur color and hairstyle remaining unchanged, I might not have been able to find him at all. Over his shoulder, I can see Leigh looking out at the water. He takes a moment to look back towards me, locking our eyes for a moment before returning them to endless ripples of the ocean. There's a piece to him that's so different from the rest of our group. It's melancholic but serene, like watching dead leaves plucking off trees as the wind blows by. Maybe I shouldn't disturb him. You don't have to stare from back there. The words are aimed at me, but he doesn't take his eyes off the horizon where the sea and the sky coalesce. I can feel his focus on me, but it's not judgmental, more wary. About what? I don't know. So I just wasn't expecting. Yeah, I figured. I knew it was a bad idea to wear this, but I promised Charlie I would. Oh, right, sorry. Totally forgot about that. He snorts at that, and his mouth quirks into a small smile. It's a lot tamer than his usual grins, but it feels more appropriate with the mood between us. There's a tension that's not usually there between the two of us. I didn't even realize how comfortable we had gotten with each other over just a couple of days. It was only Monday when I thought he was scary and thought he might hurt me. Well, I guess he did, but that doesn't count. She's not the type to let things like that go. A real piece of work. But you love her. Yeah, I love her. Don't get smarmy with me, kid. He reaches over and tries to ruffle my hair, but I move out of the way just in time. That lights a fire in his eyes and he lunges for me, trying to reach my fluffy bangs. In an attempt to elude him once more, I try to back away again, but the heel of my foot hits a wooden stump, and I lose my balance, prepping to fall onto the hard wooden floor. Except I don't. In an intense moment of deja vu, Leigh catches me before I hit the ground, scooping an arm around my chest and hoisting me back onto my feet. I would say you're acting like my sister, but she has great balance. So I got a bit excited. Don't apologize, kid. Just be more careful. He releases me from his embrace, and I awkwardly stumble to a more appropriate distance, trying to ignore the heat on my cheeks. The warmth becomes a lot harder to ignore when my eyes catches a glimpse at his stomach, the entire thing revealed by his low-cut shirt. There's not much I haven't seen before, but the thought of getting caught stealing is enough to intensify the embarrassment coursing through me. Just don't think about it too much, Wallace. Focus on something else. The only thing that manages to catch my attention is his scar. Surprising me that it's just sitting out in the open. I would have thought he'd want to hide that, but then again, with how little he's covering, I don't think he really cares what anyone else thinks. Then something from the conversation Leigh and Charlie had yesterday comes to mind, and my curiosity gets the better of me. So, this is what you like to wear? He raised an eyebrow at that, and if it wasn't for the barely visible grin on his face, I have thought I offended him. Is that a problem? No. It's just so different from what you usually wear. Yeah, it is. His face returns to his usual stoic expression, and he walks back to the edge of the pier, leaning against the railing this time as he looks over at me, expectant. I quickly join him, leaning my side against the rail as I look up at Leigh. As soon as I'm next to him, he looks up at the sky, a distant look in his eyes. It feels like he's waiting for something. If you prefer wearing this, why do you wear what you usually wear? I told you, didn't I? It keeps people away. No one wants to fuck with a thug. It didn't keep me away, and you wonder why I worry about you. He looks down at his clothes and lets out a sigh, sounding defeated. He doesn't look upset. If anything, he looks relatively unfazed by what he's been saying. This kind of stuff invites attention that I don't need anymore. Don't get the wrong idea either. I like what I wear these days too. Charlie didn't seem to think so. She knows I like the jacket, but she just doesn't like how I avoid them. She's always sticking her nose into places it doesn't belong. At the mention of his sister, a smile creeps back onto his face. Even if what he's saying doesn't sound particularly nice, there's a fondness to his voice that gives away how he truly feels. Charlie's lucky to still have them. She calls you by your real name. It sounded like it annoyed you. As soon as I bring up his name, he blows up a puff of air, and for a moment I'm worried that I'm poking something I shouldn't be. I'm worried that I'm poking something I shouldn't, but he catches my worried expression and nudges my shoulder, inclining me to carry on. Why do you change it? He doesn't respond at first, instead opting to gaze up to the sky. It's like he's searching the clouds for an answer. Whether that's the one to my question or one of his own, I don't know. Following his lead, I lean my head back and stare at the blue expanse. The clouds are plentiful, but none of them are an angry gray. There's a pace to just embracing the atmosphere alongside Leigh. My father named me that. My mother named Charlie, and he named me. He expected a girl, but when he got me, they decided to stay with it. Do you not like the girly name? I met guys named Ashley in high school. No, it's not that. His tone isn't upset or angry, but tired. He sounds absolutely exhausted, as if this topic drained every last piece of energy in his body and kept going for good measure. I don't want to have a name from that man. I'd rather change it myself. So he's just sorting it? He hesitates at that, and for once he looks unsure about what to say. It's not an expression that fits the image of Leigh I have in my head, that solid walk that isn't shaken by anything. But Leigh is just a person like all of us. It's unfair for me to put him on a pedestal like that. There are things that make him uncomfortable too. You don't have to answer that. It's okay. I don't mind. My mother always loved my name. She used to always tell me that it's a beautiful name to fit my beautiful boy. My father doesn't deserve to name me, but I'll keep part of it to honor her. He, she sounds amazing. He only nods before looking towards me with a smile so soft that it clashes with his scary demeanor. I bet people who don't know Leigh well could never imagine him looking like this. There's a moment where it looks like he's going to reach out and touch, me, but he stops himself, pulling back and looking towards me with what looks like a speck of worry in his eyes. Are you doing better? Nose all healed? Oh, that's what this was about. He's still going on about this even now. It's nice that he cares, but I feel like he's beating himself up over nothing. Yeah, it's all fine. It doesn't even hurt anymore. Really. It doesn't sound like he believes me, like I'm just lying for his own benefit. It's a little infuriating, but I know it comes from a good place. I'm not lying. It's really better. Blood even came out of my fur and everything. That's great, kid. I promise you, I'll... Yeah, I heard you before. You don't have to keep apologizing. It was an accident. But I promise you, if it's still hurting, I'll let you know, I swear it. His eyebrows furrow, and there's a short moment where I'm worried he'll keep pushing on it. Thankfully, he gets the message, and his smile begins to creep across his face, white teeth standing out starkly against his gray fur. Calling him handsome would be an understatement. He's like an angel that everyone mistakes for a demon. I wonder what he thinks he is. I have a feeling I know what the answer is, though. You should wear that more. I like it. More than the other one? You look happier in it. That's because of the company, not the outfit. It looks good on you too. I like it a lot. He raises an eyebrow at that, and for a moment I think I've said too much. Did that make me sound like Oscar? I didn't mean it because it's hot. It's completely at least. Not completely at least. He raises an eyebrow at that, and for a moment I think I've said too much. Did that make me sound like Oscar? I didn't mean it because it's hot. Not completely at least. He helps out a chuckle under his breath and nudges me with an elbow. Pushing himself off the railing, he walks back to the restaurant, only slowing down to call something over his shoulder. It's hard to resist following the outline of his body, following that gray fur all the way down to his belt. I've never met someone with such an elegant body. It would be hard to not appreciate it. It might be my imagination, but I feel like he's intentionally giving me a great view of him. As he walks away, it's nothing too noticeable, but it's just a feeling. Let's head back in and get this over with. Get what over with? The rest of our group has gathered at the table. Lily and Oscar are both laughing while Lucas pouts about something that they said. I hope they're not teasing him too badly, though I feel like he can handle his own with them. He looks a lot more comfortable with them than before. He doesn't even look annoyed at Oscar at all. That's definitely got to be a step in the right direction. The moment they catch sight of us, however, they immediately fall silent and just stare dumbfounded. It is a hard guess to figure out they're staring at Leigh. He doesn't look surprised in the slightest, just looking towards me and shrugging as if to say, "Told you so." I didn't really think it would be that big of a deal, but I guess I was the same way just moments ago. That single action lights the fuse and it sets off the rest of our group. Oscar all but jumps out of his seat, looking between the rest of us and Leigh as if screaming, "Look at this." He never told me you can dress sexy. This looks like something I'd see at a club or something. Hell, I could even see myself wearing that and that saying something, man. It's just something I used to wear in high school. Yeah, sexy face, man. Can't stay in this more. I'm sure it won't be. I'm sure it won't just be me who appreciate it. I think all the boys will appreciate it too. He waggles his eyes towards me and even nudges Lucas's shoulder. Amusingly, the fox looks more surprised by that than what Leigh's wearing. You keep this up, and this will be the last time you'll see me in this. Come on, don't be like that. We're just saying you look hot, right, guys? You do look really good. I'm enjoying the eye candy, but I feel like I'm not the target demographic here. Leigh lets out a huff, but I don't think he's annoyed. I just don't think he was expecting this kind of situation. Well, attention, excuse me. Instead of acknowledging them, he looks over at me. You can't really blame them. It's really different from what you usually wear. They're just a little starstruck. You look good. He rolls his eyes at that and looks back to the group, but I'm able to see the corners of his mouth twitching, making it clear he's holding back a smile. I don't think he wants to give Oscar the satisfaction. I don't know what the big deal is. It's just a hoodie. My roommate wears stuff like this all the time. And just like that, the attention switches from Leigh to the fox, mostly Oscar's, as he leans in closer, much to Lucas's dismay. You have to introduce me to him sometime. I think we get along great. Yeah, I bet the two of you would. You're both very loud and have no sense of boundaries. So, is that a yes? Lucas sighs and stares up at the otter, looking defeated, and just nods, not even bothering to resist Oscar's prying. Content with that answer, Oscar goes back to his seat and returns to admiring Leigh. To his credit, Leigh doesn't even bother reacting to his spying at all. I'm not sure if it's because he's just expected this or if he's used to it, but either way, it doesn't look like the attention bothers him too much. Now, as exciting as Leigh's new outfit is, we should probably settle down before we annoy the staff. At the sound of that, Oscar tears his eyes away from the possum and looks towards our side of the table, putting on an innocent face that looks too cheesy to be remotely believable. I come here a lot, so let's not get me in trouble with the owners. I like this place, alright? You're the one making this scene. We just want a quiet lunch, but I don't think you know what quiet means. A devilish grin spreads across the otter's face with such ominousness that it makes my skin crawl. His eyes dart between Lucas and me. Before he leans back against the cushioned seat, he looks like an evil mastermind with the way his eyes are twinkling with mischief. I saw both of you checking him out. Wallace was a second away from drooling on his lap, and you are not as subtle as you think you are, Grumpy. I caught your eyes darting back to him whenever you thought no one was looking. I expect Lucas to give some kind of retort or insult, but he just looks away, acting as if Oscar didn't say anything at all. I can't see any of his features, but I can almost feel the heat coming off him. Enough, both of you. Am I sitting next to Oscar? Alright, sorry, that was a little too fun to watch. I got distracted. Here, let me sort it out. After what feels like an after what feels like an hour of shuffling, about which in actuality is only a few minutes, but Oscar's desire to peek at every angle of Leigh makes it feel like an eternity. We manage to seat ourselves inside the booth. On one side sits Oscar and Leigh, the two largest guys in the group, though, though Oscar dwarfs even Leigh in sheer size. Despite not getting along, approves, uh, Leigh approves of the idea. He's probably happy that Oscar isn't sitting with Lucas or myself. There's no complaints from the author at all. There's too many for him to enjoy regardless of where he sits. Lucas was relieved to not have to sit next to him, and there is a part of me that feels bad for Oscar. He's constantly being put on trial, and I'm almost certain he doesn't mean any harm. The other side of the table sits Lily, Lucas, and myself, with Lily sitting closest to the wall and Lucas taking it in the closest to the exit. There had been a moment of awkwardness when Lucas bumped my arm while trying to get in, recoiling back for a moment and scouting the reaction from the rest of the table as if he'd done something awful. By the time we all got settled in, Lucas's ears were burning pink and Oscar's smirk had grown into a full-fledged grin. There was an awkward silence between the group, but before I could consider breaking it, Lily clears her throat, our attention turns to her, and she flashes a soft smile on her face. There isn't a single sign of discomfort or nervousness in her expression. Thanks for coming. Sorry for asking this on such short notice. I thought it would be good to get together again to check on Wallace and work on our project some more. Not even a second after she finishes speaking, all eyes shift towards me, concern and curiosity mixing together in everyone's eyes. Unlike Lily, I don't have the composure to handle nearly half a dozen people staring at me. So I stare towards the table, hoping that it will magically make this conversation be over. Everyone's waiting for an answer, though, and it's unfair to keep them worrying. I'm doing fine. It really was just a bad dream that left me a little bit shook up. I'm feeling a lot better after a good night's sleep. Knowing that there might still be doubt, I look up towards the group and give them as authentic a smile as I can. The edge is trembling slightly, not from any problems, mind you. Just the intensity is causing a swell of anxiety in my chest. After a moment, most of the occupants relax. Only Leigh continues to stare towards me, his green eyes still bursting with worry, but he doesn't press any further. At times like this, it's a blessing that he's so much more quiet than the rest of the group. Yeah, I bet. Tall, dark, and mysterious here definitely gave our boy a good time. Oscar nudges his elbow against Leigh's arm, his lecherous expression making it pretty clear what the implication of that is. Bet that's why you're wearing this, huh? Wanted to cheer him up some more, right? To his credit, Leigh doesn't seem to take the bait at all. It just gives a sigh. The concern in his eye earlier fades to a combination of disappointment and annoyance, though it tapers as he looks over to me. That's kind of the point. It's the reason one of us took care of Wallace after all. Lucas's judgmental tone is jarring compared to Oscar's sultry one. What the false did say, however, is much more confusing. Even Oscar looks surprised before an even wider grin crosses his face. Or you say you wanted to make sure Wallace had a great time, make sure he was satisfied. Lily's chuckle is quiet, and I can barely hear it as she muffles it with her hand. Leigh, on the other hand, was ready to interrupt and put a stop to where this is going before he's cut off by Lucas. Obviously, we all wanted to. We would have done it all together if we could. That breaks. Obviously, we all wanted to. We would have. Obviously, we all wanted to. We would have done it all together if we could. That breaks. Lily, and her giggle transforms into a full-blown laugh. Oscar quickly joins her as Leigh's entire body sags, unclear if he's disappointed or just exhausted. As for myself, I can feel myself looking towards the wall as my ears burn. It's at times like this that really makes me curse having white fur. Any flushing is easily seen through the almost transparent cheek fluff. Confused expression on Lucas's face shows that he's being completely left in the dark. Opening my mouth to explain it, a glare from Leigh makes me stop in my tracks. Looks like he doesn't want to give Oscar the satisfaction of corrupting Lucas's innocence. Instead, I just place a hand on his arm, rubbing it slowly in a reassuring way. Looking towards me, confusion is still evident in his expression as his ears droop and press against his head. Don't worry about it. He's just teasing you. Oh, I mean, nothing bad by it, man. Just didn't think you respond like that. Oscar's response is barely recognizable when each word comes out between a laugh, and regardless of his sincerity, it's hard to take seriously with that grin on his face, tears in his eyes. Just ignore him, Lily. Do you have anything you want to talk about? Despite the annoyed tone of his words, Leigh's pressing his lips together as if holding back a smile of his own. Looks like Oscar's antics even have an effect on Leigh. Not that he would ever admit it or give him the satisfaction he'd never let him live it down. Looking back towards Lucas, his expression has changed from downtrodden to bashful. His inner ears have become a deeper shade of pink, and he's playing with them as he looks down towards the table. But my attention is drawn to a feminine figure approaching our table, coming right up to the edge of our booth with a demeanor so bubbly I wouldn't have guessed he was working as a waiter. Welcome to Snapping Jaws. We hope you enjoy your stay. We have a board above the bar with all of today's lunch specials. Would any of you like something to drink while you decide on your order? Oscar perks up at the sight of the young waitress, a tall and lithe lioness with soft features. She looks to be in her mid-20s. The most striking thing about her is the numerous fists on her uniform, a colorful rainbow of fists swimming around her sea blue skirt. Can I have a beer? Oh, hey. Oscar leans away from Leigh with her face closely resembling her puppy. Leigh doesn't look like he's buying it at all. His eyes squinting with suspicion. He doesn't look angry or annoyed, though merely scolding like a parent would to their misbehaving child. It's lunchtime. No alcohol. Water for me. Jesus, man. Fine. A ginger beer then. Oh, can I please have a pink lemonade? I'm sorry you guys did them earlier and they look super cute. Actually, bring me two. They won't last very long. Lily's eager tone is a great way to diffuse the awkward tension, and I could feel Lucas relax next to me and didn't realize how tightly he's been wound up. Actually, now that I think about it, he did sit straighter as soon as he came up to our table. It's as if he's rebuilding his walls to block out any strangers like he did when I met him in class. Wanting to relieve as much tension as I can, I press my shoulder against him. He hesitates for a moment before leaning into my touch, and it's shocking just how fast he relaxes against me. That hardened expression melts away as quick as it came. He even manages to bring a smile to his face, where his usual scowl fits him. But while his usual scowl fits him well, it's nice to see him with a smile every now and then. Thanks. It's a quiet whisper that I'm sure no one besides Lily and myself can hear. There's a heavy hum coming from next to me, and I don't even need to look towards her to know that Lily's eavesdropping on us. Don't worry, just order what you like. She won't bite. I know she won't. I'm not a child. Despite his words, his body screams uncertainty, and he looks towards the waitress, whose smile grows tighter than it had been when she first arrived. She likely didn't expect ordering drinks to take this long. A root beer float. You do those, right? I saw some kids drinking some earlier. There's a firmness in Lucas's eyes, an unflinching glare that almost feels like a challenge, like he's daring her to say something. I know it's not how Lucas really feels, but it's just how he comes across, so very hostile. She raises an eyebrow at that, but only smiles or writes it down. With each tap of pen on paper, I could feel Lucas's muscles relaxing. And I have a Coke. Cut it in as soon as he finishes writing down. She gives me a big smile that someone took the initiative to speed this up, but I did it just so she'll leave sooner. I think her presence is stressing Lucas out. Great, we'll get these out to you right away, and we'll take your order then. Thank you for coming to Snapping Jaws. And with that, she moves away from our table with a skip in her step that I can only assume comes from finally being able to escape our table. The feeling's mutual even if she wasn't a bad person. With her gone, I lean over against Lucas, whisper in his ear quiet enough that I'm sure only Lily can pick it up. You doing okay? You looked a bit out of shape. You doing okay? You look a bit. You doing okay? You looked a bit out of it there. Yeah, just get scared when I talk to someone I don't know. I have problems with people. Not bothering to keep his voice down, Lucas's reply is loud enough for the rest of the table to hear it with ease. Leigh replies before I can. His voice is filled with a warmth that can only come from someone who takes care of a sibling. It's okay to be scared of people. I know a lot of people who have trouble talking to people. Yeah, my best friend gets real bad around people. He's mute and gets extremely shy around anyone else. Sometimes he freezes up entirely. Oscar cuts in with an upbeat smile, trying to brighten the mood even if the content doesn't match the tone of his voice. Lucas looks at everyone with a confused expression like he didn't understand why everyone's talking the way they are. He opens his mouth to say something before shaking his head. His neutral expression returns aloof and cold.
Self-voicing disabled.
And just like that, all the attention shifts towards Oscar. The author looks more than happy to take all of it. Yeah, when we first met, we couldn't speak to anyone on the swim team. It caused some problems with Coach, but I gave him a hand, and now we're chill. He can whisper into my ear now. It helps a lot. He's a great guy. You guys would love him. Lily looks ecstatic at that, leaning forward across the table with bright eyes. He looks so excited to make as many friends as she can, like she can't have enough. We're so different in that regard. This group are my only friends, and we've only been together for a few days. Something wraps around my right leg and squeezes lightly. Even through my pants I can feel its texture. It's thin and devoid of fur. Leigh. He's wearing a concerned expression on his face, like he can hear my every thought. Alongside that concern is pain, like something's hurting him. I'm not sure why he's so worried, but then it hits me. He's worried. He's worried I'm thinking this way because of him, because of what happened yesterday. And that just makes him feel annoyed and mad. Not just at him, but at myself too, because how could I let him feel like that? But I'm not sure how I can let him know it's not his fault. I doubt he wants to have the attention on him. I doubt he wants to have the attention on him, otherwise he wouldn't be using his hidden tail. But I got to try something because right now he needs someone. He needs me. Tilting my leg away from his tail, that concerned expression changes entirely to one of hurt, like I just slapped him before returning to his neutral expression. He looks away towards the exit away from my face. But before I could retreat his tail, my tail wraps around his own. Mine is nowhere near as long as his, but he's left enough over my end of the table for our tips to curl around each other. His body stiffens and his breathing stops. His eyes widen in surprise as it's clear that he is trying to refrain his face from reacting any further. It lasts only a moment before he squirms in his seat, adjusting himself and returning to his usual guise. But there's something about that nervous way he does it that reminds me that Leigh isn't too much older than me. He's mature, so much more mature than he has any right being, but there's still someone young in there, and the fact I'm able to bring that out of him, even just for a moment, brings about a satisfaction. There's a tightening of his tail around my own before he retreats, leads back to looking over towards me with concern, but there's something else mixed in there with them this time, and it's something I can't even begin to comprehend. Lily and Oscar are chatting about his friend next to us, and Leigh looks like he wants to interrupt to say something, but I give him a smile to let him know I'm okay. Because it's true, I am okay, or at least I'm doing better. I have friends and they care about me. Sure, they're new, and I've only known them a couple of days, but they're the closest of friends I've had for a long time. So I think we should carry on looking into what happened to Alina. Lily's voice pierces through everything, but it's kind and gentle, like it doesn't want to disturb this peace between us. This serenity, but has to. We all look towards her, surprised it's onto the others' faces, probably my own as well. I have to completely twist myself to look at her. She only smiles back at us in return, unaffected by the confusion emanating from us. Lily's voice pierces through everything, but it's kind and gentle, like it doesn't want to disturb this peace between us, this serenity, but it has to. We all look towards her, surprised it's onto the others' faces, probably my own as well. I have to completely twist myself to look at her. She only smiles back at us in return, unaffected by the confusion emanating from us. I've been thinking about it, and I contacted our professor about the labs. He said as long as we can provide weekly reports, then we can leave our Thursday class early if something happens to one of us, if things get too hard. She's looking towards Lucas with a sympathetic glance, her eyes softer than I've ever seen someone's eyes being. It reminds me of a new mother doting on her newborn baby. But under the table, she gives my legs a gentle squeeze. It's not suggestive by any means, it's comforting as if the words are meant for me too. At this moment, I can't help but see Marcus in her. They're different and he never showed this level of affection, but I know he cared about me more than he did about anyone else. Seeing him in her is bittersweet. But as I was saying, let's do some research on it today. There's a shuffling behind me, and then, without a hint of saying, Lucas places his head on my shoulder. The warmth is a sudden shock, but I can't let myself get too startled. That will scare Lucas off. Oscar is waggling his eyebrows obscenely towards us, but I'm going to just ignore him as much as I consciously can because I can still feel the heat in my face and ears, worsening whenever I feel Lucas's fur brush against the skin of my neck. We can go to the library. I know my way around there pretty well. I can see his expression, but the excitement in his voice is so thoroughly charged up that I can't help but imagine his eyes wide and a little smile on his face, even if such a smile doesn't fit what I've seen of him. Lily only giggles in response, incredibly amused about something, and I really hope it's how cute Lucas is being and not the amount I must be blushing. That's the idea. We'll all go to the library and do some research together. Will we find anything? What do you mean? This was a murder, not a historic event. We won't find any books on it. Yeah, but there's computers littering the library for students to access in there. That seems like the smartest place to do it. I don't think any of us has space at our place for all of us to crowd in. I know I don't. Even without a roommate, my room is still significantly smaller than any other place I've stayed before this. I didn't even know the library has computers in it. The smile drops off Lily's face as he looks over towards Oscar with a confused expression. The rest of us follow suit. Aren't you a senior? Yeah, but it doesn't mean I used the library much. I've only gone there a few times. That doesn't surprise me. You don't exactly strike me as the kind of guy that read a book that's not porn. See, this guy gets it. There's a bristling of fur against my neck as Lucas tenses up. Something about that exchange must have made him uncomfortable because he steals away from me. Oscar, I've been curious, but what is your major? Accounting. I'm doing a bachelor's of commerce. I got off a full ride scholarship if I went into law, but then I wouldn't have time to swim, and I'm not down for that. That stuns the whole table back into silence. With the attention now on Oscar, I'm able to face forward and see everyone else. That stuns the whole table. That stuns the whole table back into silence. With the attention now on Oscar, I'm able to face forward and see everyone once more. Leigh looks the most surprised. His historic mask nowhere to be seen, as his eyes are wider than I thought possible. Everyone looks absolutely dumbfounded. How did someone as dumb as you get offered a scholarship, but go into law no less? Right? I just want to swim. No need to complicate it with such a demanding major. Accounting isn't exactly a small walk in the park either. That's still a serious curriculum, not even remotely on the same level as law, but you can't just sleep your way through it. Everyone's surprised at Oscar's declaration, even Leigh's still completely stunned into silence at the news, but no one's asking the most important question. Why do you pick accounting instead of something less demanding? I had to cut myself off from saying anything specific and potentially pissing someone off. No need to insult someone's possible major. Thought it'll be a good degree if I need to get a proper job. I don't really care about accounting much, but man, as long as I can swim, I don't care what I'm doing. You get? There's something off about the way Oscar is talking about this. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but he's telling the truth. But I think he's telling the truth, but I also feel like I'm being lied to at the same time. This whole thing is so strange. I feel so stunned that I don't even notice the waitress have returned with our drinks until she asked for our orders. I hadn't even had a chance to look at the menu, but thankfully Austin makes a recommendation, so we're able to get back onto this topic as quickly as possible. What about you, Lucas? I don't think you're a freshman. Let's kind of skip a bunch of this part here because we're always seeing this in the Oscars route. You want to see the full, you want to see everything, you can go watch some Oscars route. Since this is the second route I'm doing now, I'm just going to skip a lot of it and just stick with stuff strictly for Leigh. Get It's quiet but close enough that I nearly fall out of my chair. In surprise, but a hand steadies me. His grip is firm, but never too tight. Even a split-second decision, he's able to make sure he doesn't hurt me. Sometimes I wonder just how Leigh thinks he could ever be the reason I feel bad. So he hit me in the face, but accidents happen, and it would be obvious to anyone who saw it that it was an accident, anyone except Leigh. I don't think I'll ever get the devastated look he had out of my head. The panic in his voice is something that I never want to see again, and if I'm able to, I won't let it happen again. Looking towards Leigh, I can see his stony face, but I don't focus on that because that never shows the truth. It's just a mask he puts on to intimidate and hide whatever he's feeling. What I concentrate on is his eyes because they're swirling with so much worry. Those striking emerald eyes that stand out on his face are standing stark and radiant. If the rest of Leigh is a coal, then his eyes are the diamonds underneath, except they might even be prettier than any diamonds I've ever seen. They bring his handsome face together. Hey, you look like shit. Let me clean you up. Stupid thing to laugh at, but I can't stop it from spilling out. It's just such a charmingly blunt thing to say. It looks like that's the right move because he smiles that wonderful toothy smile. He sits next to me and rubs his fingers under my eyes. His touch is delicate, and the sensation of his claws brushing against my skin causes me to shiver. It must have given him a shock because he pulls his hand away for a moment. It's only for a second before it returns, though there's hesitation in his movements. His smile is still there, but it looks fragile. His eyes aren't just filled with concern, there's fear there too. Taking a deep breath, I try to muster up all the courage I can and reach my own hand up to touch his, slow enough to not startle him. There's a fragility to this intimate moment, and I don't want to shatter it. I want to say something to him, anything to comfort him, but I can't find any words. All I can do is run my fingers along his knuckles and hope it's enough. Eventually he pulls his hand away, but he doesn't get back up, and while that worry never truly leaves his eyes, he looks more comfortable being close to me again. "You're okay?" "Yeah, I'm good. It's just heavy stuff, you know?" This time he only gives a grunt in response before looking towards the diary. After an unsuccessful attempt to read, he shuffles his chair closer. The pressure against my shoulder feels different than it did with Lily, and I can't stop myself from feeling both giddy and nauseous at the same time. It's a mixture of feelings that I've never experienced before, and I'm not sure if I like it or hate it more. It's embarrassing, but Leigh makes no comment if he knows anything. He's a slow reader, but I don't mind. His presence is comforting, and I consider leaning against him, but I can't bring myself to do it. Just the thought of it sends a rush of heat to my face, forcing me to count my blessings that he's focused on a diary. Did something happen to your parents? What? This upset you? Anyway, I guess. I think it's a combination of everything. He only raises his eyebrow at me. It's a question without words. I wonder if something happened to me today. Would my mother know I loved her? Would that phone call devastate her? Are you too close? I mean, I think so. I don't know. We used to be all so close, but then things happened and we all drifted apart. Do you want to be closer? Of course, they'd be closer. Call her and tell her you love her and that you're happy sees your mother. His voice falters for only a moment, but it stands out like neon paint across a canvas. The sober aura emitting from him is too thick to not notice. I didn't think about how insensitive I'm sounding. I wish I could help. I wish I could help him like he's helping me, but I just don't know how. It might be overstepping my boundaries. No, it definitely is. But I need to know. What about you? Were you close with your mom? That catches him off guard, and he looks away, all his features drooping on, all his features drooping downwards. I've never seen him look like this before. I've seen him look worried, annoyed, and even scared, but never sad. In that moment, Leigh, the man who looked like the strongest person I've ever known, looks exactly his age. Like someone barely an adult who is trying to take care of his sister, someone who had responsibility forced on him much too early. I reach out my hand to place it on his shoulders. There's no hesitation in my movement, even if he did react violently last time, because he promised me he'd never hurt me again. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. He reaches up and grabs my wrist, forcing me to stop my advance. It's not forceful, but it has a sense of finality to it. It's not touching, and that's it. I don't bother trying to resist when he brings it to rest back on my knee. My mother died when I was very young. I'm so sorry. But he cuts me off with a hand and sits straighter, adjusting himself until he's recovered back to his usual self, to his usual stuff. But there's a distance between us that I've never felt before. His eyes are staring towards me, but they don't see me. My memories of her are hazy, and Charlie doesn't remember. My memories of her are hazy, and Charlie doesn't remember her at all. She was fucking great, the best mother a child could have. What happened to her? She just got sick, cancer. We never talked about it. Shit, what I'm saying is, I really wish I could have told her how much I loved her before she died. Don't make that mistake. I want to ask more, but it doesn't feel like my place, and Leigh looks more aware of the present, no longer lost in memory. So I say the one thing I can think of. I've never heard you say so much at once. That causes him to laugh, and it's a sound I don't hear often. A wonderful deep sound that I can almost feel vibrate in my chest. It's just as handsome as his face, but there's something else riding its waves. It must be sadness or something similar. Mom will kick my ass and see Mom would kick my ass if she was still around. She would always smack Dad when he swore, but she always made cookies afterwards. She sit Charlie on her lap and feed them to her. She was so small back then. She sounds pretty great. He smiles at that and places his hands on my head, ruffling my thick head, fur around until it's a complete mess. I pretend to swat at his hands, but my attempts at but my attempts are half-hearted at best. We both know it's a facade. Kid, she would have loved you. She would? I don't remember too much, but I know deep down that she would have doted on you. I'm not sure if that's a compliment or not. He just flashes his teeth at that, his smile widening further after about 10 more seconds of ruffling my hand. Leigh gets back on his feet and stands over me. There's a firmness to his features that wasn't there moments ago. Don't let the world change you. If it doesn't like you, it doesn't deserve you. He takes a step away before stopping and coming back. The look on his face is something I've never seen on him before. It's uncertainty, but it quickly fades away. I'm going to check something out tomorrow. Want to come? Where is it? Mercy worked for a shelter. I'm checking it out. Sure, yeah, I'll come along. With that, he walks away towards Oscar and Lucas, both of which are having been looking towards us for most of the conversation. I bet Lucas caught most of it, but he doesn't make any indication that he had been listening. Looking down my phone, I open my mother's number and stare at it for a few moments before I get up and walk down one of the aisles. I'm almost in the clear when I see Leigh's eyes staring directly at me. There's a moment that I'm worried he's going to stop, but he just looks down towards his phone once more. Being the quiet type is definitely a blessing sometimes. It doesn't take, well, it doesn't look like being the quiet type is definitely a blessing sometimes. It doesn't look like there's anyone in this section. Looking at the books, I think there's about Icelandic history. I suppose this is a popular section, but that's good for me. I just want to make a phone call. Ringing up my mother's number, there's a familiar sinking feeling in my stomach, and I begin to feel dizzy, but I push it away. I can't let that night stop me from calling my mother forever. It rings for almost 20 seconds before she picks up. She might be at work right now. Hopefully it isn't too busy. Hearing her voice through the phone brings a flood of emotions, a mixture of relief, warmth, and embarrassment. Hey baby, what's wrong? I haven't heard from you in a few days. Everything's going alright? My mouth feels so dry all of a sudden, and forming words is a lot harder now. After taking a deep breath, I'm able to pull myself together. It's going good. I just thought I should give you a call. We haven't called in a while, and I was scared I might be worrying you. I hope I'm not causing you any problems at work. Oh, baby, no. We're not busy right now, and I'll always make time for you. It helps that you're married to the boss. I'm able to hear her chuckle. I'm able to hear her soft chuckle through the phone, and for some reason that causes all the tension in my body to fall away. It melts away like ice cream on a summer day, unable to handle that wonderful warmth. That certainly helps, and I'm always worried about you. I just thought you'd be settling in, and I didn't want to stress you out. Mom, if you ever need to talk, you know both your father and I are always here. Despite myself, I can't stop myself from smiling and my eyes from getting misty. There's so much I want to say, but nothing comes out of my mouth. It's like my voice has been stripped away. We love you, baby. You mean the world to us. I love you too. I'm barely able to croak it out. The words are hoarse and I can't stop the wobbling in my voice. I hope it doesn't worry them too much. So what's bothering you? Nothing's wrong. I just saw something and it made me want to call you, to let you know that I love you. Ah, baby, you don't know how much that means to us. That includes your father too. There's that soft chuckle again, and I can't stop myself from joining her. It's more somber now, and I can feel a warm tear wetting my cheek. For after Marcus, he stopped talking to us as much as we didn't want to pursue, but we were scared we weren't doing enough. That causes my breath to hit and makes my blood run cold. Surely they can't think that I blame them for what happened. No. You two were perfect. I just needed time. I think I still need time. Of course, take as long as you need. But don't be scared to call us if you need us, okay? I won't, I promise. That's my boy. Now, have you made any friends? Yeah, I have. Hanging up the phone, it's like a weight has been thrown off my chest and I can finally breathe for the first time in years. It's an amazement that I'm not heaving. It's just a simple phone call, just a tiny chat between mother and son. But it felt like so much more than that. Like it had been the first time in a long time that we truly talked to each other. After all the hassle this diary has given me, I can't help but feel a little grateful for finding this little thing. I'm not sure I would have had the strength to call them otherwise. I wouldn't call it a blessing, but I'm glad it's at this moment. Of course, I think Leigh deserves more thanks than even the book. It's only because of his encouragement that I could even try. I know I can't fix his home life. It sounds truly broken, and I don't think there's any repairing that. And I don't think there's any repairing that. But I still wish I could help. It's not much, but I'll try to be as good of a friend as I can. I get the feeling he doesn't have a lot of those. We're similar in that regard, though I imagine we don't have any for very different reasons. It's strange just how relieved I'm feeling about the whole thing. It doesn't fix everything, but it does make me feel a lot better than before. I'm about to head back towards the group when I notice something outside the window, something very concerning. It's Lily, except she's not looking like herself. She's still talking on the phone, but she seems upset. She's covering the phone like she's trying to hide what she's saying, and the fur under her eyes look wet. I wouldn't say she's crying as much as her eyes are watering. There's a solemn aura around her, like this phone call is actively draining all her playful energy. It's so different from how she normally is that for a moment I think it might be someone else, but Siba Inu wearing a yellow cardigan is too recognizable. And just like that, she ends the call, wiping her wet eyes with her free arm, and I can feel my chest tighten because there's someone else. Well, there's someone there, a friend, who needs my help. Bile rises up in my throat as the memory of that cold night on the beach floods through me. The salty smell of the beach makes me feel lightheaded. I have to steady myself on the bookshelf to stop myself from kneeling over and vomiting on the floor. When I look up, Lily's walking away along the side of the building. Her movements are stiff, and she's still clutching her phone in her hand. She occasionally stops to take a deep breath and clean herself up. It's a sad, lonely sight. No matter what it takes, I won't let someone who needs my help go through things alone. Not again, never again. With unsteady steps, my head spinning in a dizzying frenzy, I manage to get back to the others. By the time I arrive, I'm walking straight enough to hopefully not rouse any attention. Giving up any pretense of still working, the three of them are all sitting around the large desk. All of them look super relaxed, even if none of them are talking. If I wasn't so out of it, I think I'd be excited that everyone's getting along. Luke is trying to use his phone while Oscar is leaning over to peek at his screen without any sense of saying. Leigh is just leaning back on his chair, looking directly towards me with an expression so neutral it's generally unsettling. Leigh quirks a question. Leigh quirks a questioning eyebrow, and I quickly respond with a wave that I hope comes off as nonchalant. I hope I don't look as ill as I feel. I'm not sure if he sees right through me and isn't saying anything or if he didn't notice. I changed my mind. Being the quiet type isn't great at all. When I sat back in my previous chair, it and the lilies were thankfully left vacant. Being surrounded by everyone is comforting. Pushing negative thoughts away, I closed my eyes and embraced the lackadaisical atmosphere. The sound of footsteps causing my eyes to open, and when I see Lily, she's already looking better than she did outside, but there's still little specks of evidence sprinkled about. The fur under her eyes are still damp, but now they're more disheveled, as if she tried to wipe them dry. Her slightly bloodshot eyes are only barely concealing any problems. She's smiling, and while it has a sad undertone, it still feels genuine. Whatever the call had been about, she must be glad it's over and back with her friends. Her friends, us, me. She's looking for some comfort right now, even if we're not supposed to know that. Bringing up what just happened would only do more harm. She'll open up to us if she wants to. I don't want to push her even if I want to help. So I do what she needs right now. I give her a smile and a little wave, one that she returns with her own smile before coming to sit next to me. It's small, but being there for her is all I can do at the moment. Sorry about that. Hope I didn't keep you guys waiting. We weren't. Wallace disappeared for a bit too. She glances towards me with a curious glint in her eyes and a slight smile on her face. I don't want to know what's going through her head. By himself, unfortunately, all these choices he chooses alone. I just called my mom. It wasn't anything weird. Oscar and Lily give each other a look that I don't recognize, and there's a sense of dread that rapidly fills up my chest. Of course you were, man. What else would a guy do when they sneak off alone? When I manage to stop my face from flushing at the initial comment, it's Lily's giggling that finally breaks my resolve, and I have to look away as my ears burn. I don't get it. Just ignore them, kid. They're being stupid. The fall insulted gasp Oscar gives in response is too dramatic for even him, and he just shakes his head with a grin on his face. Yeah, can't pull that off. Sorry, Lil. Lil? What kind of nickname is that? Okay, man, look. There's not a lot of places you can go with Lily. You don't sort in anyone else's name. I'm testing the waters. No need to settle down so fast. The eye roll that Leigh gives in response is so incredibly childish that causes my eyes to widen. When Leigh smiles afterwards, I can't help but wonder if he's finally warming up to him. Oscar really brings out this different side of him. Their dynamic is certainly strange. They bring out the worst and best of each other at the same time. What about Wallace? I haven't really heard you call him anything that isn't dude or man. I'm not a big fan of nicknames. I really prefer just Wallace. We'll keep it at Wallace then. It's a cute name anyway. You're very biased towards Wallace. The name you give me is very demeaning. Ah, you're cute when you're grumpy. It's why I call you that. In an act of supreme confidence of utter stupidity, Oscar reaches over and ruffles Lucas's hair fur between his ears. The fox is so stunned that he doesn't even react for a second before he growls at Oscar, but the growing blood peeking through his fur tells a different story. But if you want me to stop, I will. Don't want to ruin anyone's day. The fox looks down at the table as he starts to fiddle with his ears, his face still visibly burning through his dark fur. If that wasn't enough, it's incredibly hard to not notice his tail thrashing behind him. It's really annoying, but my mom calls me grumpy too, so that's okay. You're encouraging him. The curling at the edge of Leigh's mouth belies his scolding tone, and when Lucas looks confused at the comment, he only shakes his head instead of elaborating. It looks like Leigh doesn't have the heart to tease him. Soon enough, Oscar's trying to hug the fox, and Leigh's half-hearted efforts to stop a scrap from breaking out makes everything feel so warm and affectionate. The giggling next to me brings my attention back to Lily and the memory of what I just saw moments ago. Looking back at the group, it's clear they're preoccupied for now. I don't think prying is a good idea, but simply checking up on her should be fine, right? Hey, I'm worried my whisper might be too soft with Lucas now yelling at Oscar about belonging in the strip club. Now I wish I knew the context, but she turns towards me. Her previously blood-shot eyes are now returning back to their soft gold on white. No signs of crying outside of the stiff clumps of dried fur under her eyes. You wouldn't even be able to see it if you were. You wouldn't even be able to see it if you weren't looking for it. Hey there. I hope everyone behaved. Do you have to stop any fights from breaking out? I'm pretty sure Leigh's the one who stops the fights. I'm surprised when she shakes her head and points to me before leaning forwards to join me and whispering. It looks like whatever happened outside hasn't quelled her playful personality. I think Leigh causes just as many fights. He's a bit of a prude. She gives a giggle that's filled with such a sweet tone that I can't help but smile back towards her. They get along a lot better than they make it seem. I think they're all growing on each other. They are? Better than that day in the library. Better than that day in the library. Lucas isn't straight up insulting people anymore. At least talking a lot more now, or maybe you didn't notice because they're all so nice towards you. That causes me to sit up straighter in my chair and even sneak a glance towards the others. Thankfully, they're all still distracted with Leigh trying to stop Oscar from making Lucas rub his biceps. Really? You're so oblivious, aren't you? Lucas is right. Oscar does have a bias towards you, but they all do. I don't think I deserve that. I almost jumped completely out my skin when I feel a hand on my cheek. It's not an accent I'm used to feeling. Even my mother would only scratch under my chin at most. I'm still not used to having such openly affectionate friends with both Oscar and Lily. I'm not sure my heart is going to last the rest of the semester. You're a sweet guy, and they see that. You don't need to be so harsh yourself. Now I'm beginning to blush just like Lucas across the table, who is now staring towards us with a raised eyebrow, but he swiftly turns his attention back to Leigh, who's now scolded the two of them. Leaning back, the feeling of her fingers sliding off my cheek sends a shiver up my spine, which she notices and lets out a soft laugh that she tries to hide behind her hand. I need to change the subject. I'm getting distracted. Are you doing okay? You looked a little upset when you came back. I don't want to pry. I'm just worried. Bracing myself for her smile to drop, I'm left flabbergasted when she smiles even brighter. It's filled with so much admiration that I can feel my cheeks burning so hot that I know my white fur isn't hiding anything. This is what I mean. You're so caring and kind. Yes, I'm doing good. Great even. Hanging with friends always helps. I wanted to ask about the call. I want to ask so badly, but I know it's not my place. I have that dark need in my chest burning. I got to restrain myself just a little. Lily makes a choice for me when she calls out to the group. So how did our investigation go? Did you boys find anything interesting? Go ahead and see. Let's skip this part here. We always silence with Oscar's root. So this is the part where he ends up having a dream like an Oscar's root. So yes, I think we'll skip. Skip the word meet up with Leigh. Okay, so we're gonna stop right here. Okay, so we got to learn a little bit more about Leigh and his mother. His mother died a long time ago when he was young, and Charlie doesn't remember her mother at all. But from the brief time his mother was around, Leigh thought of his mother as, well, he's the best. He thought of her as the best mother ever. So we haven't really heard him talk about his father, but I don't think he really likes him. I mean, like, if I already selected the other choice on my own time, because you can only do one choice where you either pick the mother or the father. I picked the mother, but I decided to pick the father, and when you pick that choice, Leigh tells you that his father was a bad person and that he doesn't love him. So the fact that Leigh's mother has been dead for a long time made Wallace call his own mother just to let her know that he loves her and values her. And fortunately for Wallace, he has great parents. And not everybody has great parents. You can have a single parent, like a single mother. They could be the greatest mother that you've ever had. There's no father, but he's at least he got a great mother. And then you got a lot of people who have a mother and a father, and both of them are horrible. So not everybody's lucky. Some people are just more lucky than others. Wallace is lucky to have two great parents. But again, at least for Leigh, I mean, it wasn't completely horrible. I mean, even though his mother's dead now, at least for what little time she was with him, she was very great to him and gave him great memories. So at least Leigh has that. And I think I don't think with with Lily, I don't think that this her attitude, her calm, optimistic attitude is a mask at all. I think that's what she really is, but he does a great job of hiding what she really feels, because Wallace, after Wallace talked to his mother, he hangs up and he catches Lily crying because he was on the phone. So when you meet her, it seems as though like she has everything under control and she's got everything together. Yet turns out she has some issues going on also. Because she was crying, and so yeah, she has some issues. And then once Wallace brings her up to her, brings up her crying in the library, well, in that secluded section, she kind of, I think it wasn't too much of a big deal to her. Maybe it was, but she's kind of good at not letting her emotions get to her when she's around other people. So apparently she took it better than what Wallace was expecting. And to me, it's very healthy for Wallace that he has friends like these, all very supportive and caring. They always want to make sure he's okay. And it seems as though that there's something about him that makes these guys care for him so much. I believe it's his innocence, and just the kind part of him. Like Lily said, he's a sweet and kind guy. And that's the reason why, that's part of the reason why they like him so much and care for him so much, because it's not very common to find sweet and caring people. It's not common. So I believe they value him for his kindness. This is the reason why they care about him so much. Alright, so we'll continue with Violent Memoir. I decided to skip a lot of stuff. I could have skipped some of the stuff about, when he calls his mother, but I think, considering this discussion we had with Leigh about his mother, his family life, I decided to just play that part anyway, even though we already, where he calls his mother, even though we already played that part, and also Swoop, just simply because of Leigh, we got to hear from Leigh, but anyway. So I decided to skip up to where we meet with Leigh, because, everybody's having a dream, just like in Oscar's route. So we got to see this dream through Oscar's perspective. Well, not perspective, but we got to see. We got to navigate this dream with Oscar, so we'll get to navigate it with Leigh this time. I'm pretty sure eventually when I get to I forgot his name, but the small one, the one, what I'm talking about. I keep forgetting his name away, but as soon as we get to his route, we'll be navigating this through his route also. So I'm not very good with remembering names. Like, anyway. So thank you all very much for watching. Bye.